This summer, back again to the new video, and I want us to go through the Christianity, which is really insanity, and I have explained to you guys the deception that they live on and how they're here as a stone or worse, yeah, and how they are blind and vain and don't know what they're just trapped in some type of a program, yeah, because they created this special evangelical Christians that are down with, in general, all Christians anyway, they're all down with anything evil, and that makes no sense as long as it's in the script. Understand that? As long as it's in the script, as I told you, the script is very dangerous. The script actually should be burned, because once they read the script, they're going to do more and more evils every day, people.
Is God's chosen people, always have been God's chosen people, always will be God's chosen people.
In my last video, I walked through Bethlehem's walled-off streets and met Palestinian Christians fighting to stay on their land. But I kept thinking about how some of Israel's biggest supporters back home are not necessarily American Jews, but evangelical Christians.
Most Christians will tell you, well, we love Israel because God says, I will bless those who bless my people.
So why do American evangelicals support a state that directly hurts Palestinians, including their fellow Christians?
You have my sisters and brothers who are supposed to be my support, actually doing all their best to support the ones who are oppressing us. It makes me angry.
Here's something that might surprise you. White evangelical Christians in the US are more than twice as likely as American Jews to believe that God gave Israel to the Jewish people. Now, not all evangelicals believe this, but the ones that do, their voices are often the loudest and most influential.
The title deed to the land of Israel is recorded in the Bible, which gives the Jewish people a clear and unclouded title to that land forever. It belongs to them, and it belongs to them only.
People that share this view are called Christian Zionists. They believe the Bible commands them to support and defend the modern-day state of Israel, regardless of what this means for the Palestinians who live under its occupation. They point to one biblical verse in particular, Genesis 12:3, that they believe references the modern state of Israel.
Genesis 12, here it is in the very beginning of the Bible. You know, I'll bless and I'll curse those who curse her.
I met Sharon Sanders in Jerusalem. She's an American Christian who moved here from Illinois in the 1980s out of a deep religious sense of mission to support Israel. She and her husband founded the charity Christian Friends of Israel, which aims to help people from recent Jewish immigrants to Israeli soldiers.
Just simply kindness of the heart to say thank you for protecting us. Thank you for taking care of the land.
Her charity is one of several foreign Christian-led organizations that have flourished in Israel in recent years. It's estimated that every year, evangelicals give around $200 million to Israel.
Wow.
Worldwide donations from the Jewish community far surpass that, but Christian contributions
200 million people. You see how much Religio make money? How much money Religio collect? 200 million people. And she said that's not even the tip of the iceberg, because there's the other Christians that is much more.
continue to rise and show no signs of slowing down. And some organizations specifically raise money for Israeli settlements in the occupied West Bank, which are illegal under international law.
All Christians
Talking
paying,
about
man.
millions of dollars and political support that is used to continue my oppression.
That's Munzer Ishaq, a Palestinian Christian pastor who lives in Bethlehem, the city where Jesus is believed to have been born, that's now surrounded by this massive wall. It's one of the most imposing parts of Israel's military occupation of Bethlehem and other Palestinian territories, an occupation that's now over 50 years old, meaning several generations of Palestinians have never known freedom.
When you support a specific state who has racist policies and is enforcing an apartheid state, that would be unbiblical in my mind, right? That wouldn't be loving thy neighbor as yourself.
You know, we read the same Bible, but then they are using the Bible as a weapon against me. You know, we Christians call the Bible Injil, the good news.
Okay, guys. They're using the Bible as a weapon. They're using the Bible, as I told you. I should, burn the whole book and just take what is good out and burn the whole book, because there is mixed up good and evil in there. Okay, they're now doing the evil that is in the book, and the other half Christians are saying, "Why? I don't know why they're doing that." Well, they're doing what is written in their book, which is in your book too. But you're going to read that when it suits you, right? That's the hypocrisy. Now, you got them, they're doing what they're supposed to do, all right? Even Palestinian Jew is a Religio as well, okay? But you see how it works, okay? The Religio have the good part in the script, and they got the bad part, the God of war and killings in there, and then they use this God anytime they want to go over somebody. You know what I'm saying? And they're going to justify that using the script, using the Bible. You see that? You see that? No God came down. No God said nothing. It's all in the script. And that's what they live.
Good news into our nightmare.
Why is their read of the Bible so different?
Evangelicals read the Bible in a very literal and simple way. They believe that you have to trust Israel so that God blesses you. So it's like Israel becomes a gauge of whether you receive blessing from God. Makes me wonder what kind of God they are meeting in the Bible. The God I meet in the Bible is a God of love, is a God of peace.
Right, because you picked that.
An image of God who's a tribal God who favors one nation over everyone else based on a promise that's thousands of years old.
But for Christian Zionists like Sharon, that promise is prophecy. Many believe that the establishment of Israel in 1948, which displaced the majority of the Palestinians who lived there, was all part of God's divine plan.
We see all over God's word that the Jewish people at a certain point in history would begin to find their way back home. And we know that happened in May 1948 when the state became a real nation. And ever since then, the Jewish people have been coming home. It's a miracle, and we've been living in Bible prophecy ever since.
Do you think Jesus, who preached love thy neighbor, would be okay?
You see what she said? Now they've been living in the Bible prophecy ever since. You see that? They do what the script tells them, and then they live in Bible prophecy. It's the script becoming flesh. There's nobody talking.
People like that and cutting off people from their land.
He probably would have quoted Genesis 12:3 and said, "I'll bless those who bless my people."
When you're talking, I feel like there's a lot of support and elevation of the Jewish people having Israel. But doesn't that contradict the principles of equality that Christianity preaches?
Well, then I think we'd have to go back to God and ask him why he chose the Jewish people. He chose them to be a light to the nations. According to his word, he chose them to bring the Messiah through.
So just by that, you guys can see that these Christians, man, they have no idea of what they preach to you. You see what she said? You see what she said? That, well, it was God that decided that these people had to suffer. But meantime, you got Christianity out here preaching the message of love. That's what she asked you. What happened to the message of love? All of a sudden, it doesn't exist. It only exists the message of war. You see how hypocrite these Christians? That's what happens. Told you.
What God says, not what man says.
To be clear, not all American Christians read the Bible like this. In fact, in the last few years, several prominent U.S. churches have come out in support of Palestinian rights, even endorsing the Palestinian boycott, divestment, and sanctions movement targeting Israel. But even so, the people who do believe in this prophecy have a huge following. And for them, it all culminates into a biblical grand finale called the end times.
Somebody said, I want to understand the end times, where you just need to look at three things. You look at Jesus, you look at the Jews, and you look at Jerusalem.
Many evangelicals believe that once Jews fully control the land, Jesus will return to earth and rapture Christians up to heaven.
To believers, it's going to be a time of ecstasy and joy and excitement and glory. But to those who do not know him, it's going to be a day of judgment.
If you're a Christian, you will not be around for the tribulation period. You'll be safely in heaven.
And this tribulation period, some believe, is a violent and bloody war for those who remain behind.
Jesus Christ will speak the word.
If it's going to be a violent, bloody war for the unbelievers, you know what I'm saying? And he's saying that the Christians are all going to be in heaven. They're not even going to be there for that. Ain't that something, people? So you got all these Christians voting for this land, paying for this land, fighting for this land, but they're not going to be part of that. You see how they use these Christians for nothing? Because they have no soul. Look, keep going.
And he will summon in the most dramatic act of warfare.
Their kingdom is in heaven, right?
He will bring about the slaughter of those who reject him.
And in some interpretations, they believe that 2/3 of the Jews will die. So these Christian Zionists, not all of them believe this specific theology, but many of them do. You're promoting them to come to a specific location in order for them, or 2/3 of them, to die.
It doesn't sound like a holy alliance.
It doesn't.
But this alliance is powerful.
Millions of Christians in America and around the world now stand with Israel.
Okay, pause. We're going to come back to Sharon, John, and Munzir in a bit. But first, let me tell you a bit more about this guy. Because to understand how influential Christian Zionists have become, you have to understand John Hagee. This Texas pastor is the founder and leader of Christians United for Israel, or CUFI, an organization that claims to have 10 million members. That makes Hagee influential outside the movement too, with lots of big-name friends in politics. Even though in several sermons, Hagee had claimed that Hitler was actually sent by God to force Jews to move to Israel.
Then God sent a hunter.
So as you can see, the Christian machine program is connected to the Matrix program. Okay, it's connected to the whole thing is connected to it's the same programming. There's nothing different. Jesus and the weapon, Yhwh, weapon of war. It's all part of the system that they own. Okay, those are the top Christians that lead them, the leaders of Christianity that take major decisions and investments and all that. Okay, so the evangelicals, you know what I'm saying? The other ones are just, there to fill the damn pot, you know what I'm saying? And they have their own agenda for their God. But the Yahweh don't care about these Christians. He said they're all going to be in heaven by the time of his revelation in these lands that they're taking over. And then their God will come. He's an evil God, and he will destroy the world. Can you believe that? He's an evil God that they're building there in this place, taking somebody's land to bring that evil God that is going to cause, say, a nuclear war or some type of World War III or something, kill millions, genocide, because they are not, because they're infidels or because they're not about that God and about what they're doing there, you know what I mean? Taking the land by force and doing all that. And lo and behold, once they take the land, and you think the trouble is over, it's just the beginning. Because they're coming for everybody else, people. Ain't that something? This is just a small video, guys, for you to think about how dangerous this. I told you how dangerous these Christians are. Okay, and they continue. They will continue to be your worst enemy ever on earth. They will not let you have peace in here. Okay, they allow war and destruction of everything around them, and believe that heaven is when their sorry ass die and go to heaven when they die. Okay, so they're waiting to die and go to heaven. This is not their kingdom. This is not their role or nothing. They're just troublemakers, and got all these satanic prophecies that they manifest out here. It's all bullshit, people.
and he forces you. Hitler was a hunter. Why did it happen? Because God said, my top priority for the Jewish people is to get them to come back to the land of Israel.
Wild, right?
For
If
what?
that sounds cynical to you, well, it actually underpins Hagee's beliefs when it comes to Israel. For example, this dedication to protecting and defending Israel includes denying the internationally acknowledged fact that the West Bank and East Jerusalem are occupied territories. As we saw earlier, Hagee and many of his counterparts insist the Holy Land is actually promised to Jews by God. And so they want to see the West Bank remain under Israel's control, because it's a necessary step for Jesus Christ's return to earth. But neither the Hitler comments nor his viewpoint on the apocalypse have...
People, it's a necessary step for Jesus, they believe, to return to earth. Ain't that something? That this Jesus need them to do all of that before he came back. I told you he's an evil lords and gods that they teach you. And they do all the evil in their name. They just said that this is about Jesus coming back. Go on.
A political pariah. Even Israeli leaders applaud and court the support of Hagee's movement.
Now there are millions and millions of devout Christians who stand with Israel. So I want to thank you on behalf of all the people of Israel.
One group that is less welcome at the Kufi conference is journalists. We sent a producer and cameraman to meet some of the attendees at the 2022 conference. But before they could speak to anyone, they were kicked out by security. Still, I wanted to know, why do so many Christians support the ongoing oppression of Palestinians?
I attended a church service in Bethlehem, and I interviewed a pastor there who's really upset at American evangelical Christians for supporting Israel. What would you say to someone like him who's upset with you?
Well, I'm sorry for that, but I've also lived here, and I also have seen why sometimes the rules have to be strong.
Why?
To prevent terrorism, to prevent death. You know, if you have to build a wall, if you have to build a fence, if you have to do whatever it takes to keep those who want to harm you or hurt you, then you do that to save life.
Sharon's thoughts mirror the Israeli government's position, but in reality, the International Court of Justice has asked Israel to tear down that wall because it goes so deep into Palestinian territory, a land grab.
So I'll say that Christian Zionism in general is a very colonial way of reading the Bible and also a very white supremacist type of viewing of the Bible.
It becomes easier to oppress the bad ones because they deserve it, because they brought it upon themselves. We can build a wall and lock them on the other side because they are the ones who are enemies of democracy and freedom, whereas ironically, all we're asking for is our freedom.
And for the Palestinian Christians who would say to you, we are actively being oppressed by the state of Israel, we're persecuted here, what do you say to them?
I would say, take a look at the scriptures and love them. You can, even if you're being persecuted. What did Jesus say?
Love your persecution.
Do you think they should love their oppressor?
Love thy enemy.
I don't believe that Israel is oppressing.
Turn the damn cheek.
The injustices
See that?
Palestinians are suffering.
See how why the Cube is going to finish you in the end? See that? Once they do it on you, they tell you, turn the other cheek, nigga. Read the script. If you're a Christian, read the script and turn the other cheek. That's what they do, people. It's sad.
Israeli military rule are impossible to deny. I witnessed and experienced many of them firsthand while reporting this series in the West Bank. There's some hope things are changing back home. Recent polling suggests that young American evangelicals are more supportive of Palestinians than older generations. But so long as this powerful alliance between Christian Zionists and Israel...
It takes a younger generation of evangelicals to understand that what is righteous, it seems, yeah. And but the majority of the evangelicals are about booting people out of their damn land to prepare for Jesus. You know what I'm saying? And that's all they care about. They care about a God they never seen. 2 days, you know, oppressing these other people. They don't care. They told them, look, man, if you're Christian, read the script, turn the other cheek. You understand that? We have to do what we're doing. There's no other way around it. Okay? So they're doing what they do according to the script. All right. If you're Religio, you are part of this. It doesn't matter if you are there or not. Yeah. Any religion is part of this. He pays them, you know what I'm saying? All their money collecting go around back here, you know what I'm saying? And that's what they do because Jesus is the one that they're building the day to come. So all the money is invested there. And we already told you what this is all about. We already told you where the whole history came from. We already told you about geographical locations, about all this, you know what I'm saying? And I don't understand these so-called these Damas Israelites on YouTube, the Negroes. Why are they waiting for to go over there? They got to go over there too. They're part of this. Okay? Jesus is coming for them. They call it Yahweh. It doesn't matter what you call it. But if you think that is the real thing that is coming, you gotta get your ass over there. You know what I'm saying? People, these Christians, they all in the program, they all juiced. Let's see what else is there to go. The video is finishing. You know
The hope of justice prevailing in the Holy Land remains elusive.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you
it's
thought
done,
about
people. There's nothing else to watch and to tell you other than this place is cursed. Okay. And to summarize, they're doing all of this so they can grab the land, so they can prepare for the coming of Jesus, people. And they said that they will work everybody. Once they get the land, they're going to make war with everybody. Yeah, they must have a lot of bombs and a lot of military arsenal, or friends that do, you know what I'm saying? Because you look there, it looks like a small land with nothing. No one can produce nothing in there. I don't think so. But they got all this firepower. They claim, because Jesus is funding it. The whole Church of Jesus is funding it. So they're funding the reset. They're funding the chaos that you're going to experience in the days to come. All done by these Christians, people. This is what I tell you, what their God do and what they do. They don't care about you. They don't care about this world. They don't care about tomorrow or the children or nothing. These are the Religio, most dangerous beasts in the earth. That's that, man. I love you all. Keep the instructions. Peace.